I guess you go first. What is it like trading while in a relationship?
Right. So I guess just to lay the groundwork a little bit, when we say trading, we're talking about market trading,
Market trading,
which,
yes.
which just so everyone knows, I do not do directly, indirectly through Mandela. I guess the first word that comes to mind is volatility, which is a very relevant word for this market. But yeah, volatile. We definitely have our good times, and when they're good, they're really good. And we also have our not so good times. And yeah, those bad times can fluctuate as well. I find some are more intense than others. Being with someone whose risk tolerance is different from yours, because that is one thing we talk about a lot. I'm more risk averse, more conservative. You are more sort of risk tolerant and go for it type of guy sometimes. So yeah, well, what is it like for you to have to balance that with me?
I think at first, so it's changed over time. At first, it was kind of like, well, let me just deal with it,
Yeah.
and then I'll let you know how it went, because I felt like some of the decisions were easy to make for me, and it was harder to explain or convince or otherwise get you on board.
Yeah.
And then I think also there are some times when things are changing so quickly, and the time it takes to explain it, it could no longer be there. Things could be different after the explanation to a level that makes sense. I think now it's definitely a lot easier because a lot of the explanations have already been done. And
Yeah.
now it's just about the same patterns or basically the same rationale, with slight unique variances. When it goes well, then everything is great. And it's like, wow.
The house is just peaceful and
Yeah.
everyone's having a good time. Mom's in a good mood, making the
Yeah.
best meal of your life.
Yeah, oftentimes. Well, oftentimes because of the time zone, the market's still open during dinner time.
Yes,
And unless
true.
we want to eat late. And it's also power hour, which is like prime time.
Yeah.
It's not just like some random time. It's
Right.
usually action and excitement
Yeah.
couple times a week during
Right.
that time. So yes, you have done a lot. And I guess the other side is it's like 10 times worse when it's not going well. Maybe not 10. Maybe 10 is an exaggeration. But it's not, it feels like twice as painful
Right.
for the time it's not working.
Yeah. Well,
Then
because
when the
it's
times are working, it's like,
yeah.
okay, well, that's fine. At least, that's half as good
Oh, you
as
restored our money?
when
Oh,
it's,
that was a good decision. Yeah. No, I get it. I think
yeah,
it's all relative at the end of the day. And I think it also comes down to the type of day that we've had.
yeah,
If we've had a particularly tough day, then getting the news of a down day is harder. It's harder because you're seeing the monetary value has decreased, but the emotional aspect of it, draws you down. So
yeah,
it's those two things combined. And, we talk about this sometimes because you're in the driver's seat. I can't even touch the buttons. You do everything in.
Well, that's not accurate, completely accurate,
Well,
because you did a trade not too long ago.
yes, but that
You did two
was in a
trades, or at least one
very,
trade. You did one
it was
trade.
in a very structured, safe environment. You were literally next to me. You were telling me what buttons to push. But yeah, look, I know that you are a great trader, but at the same time, you're going to have those days where things don't work out as well. And we talk about this sometimes about we were right, we were just early.
Yeah,
And that is, as you say, still, I mean, it still results in a loss, even though you were right.
an expense,
Oh, what did I say?
a loss.
Oh, okay. We should actually address that. 'Cause in our household, we are not allowed to say the word loss when it comes to trading. The word is expense. And it took me a while to get used to it. Obviously, I'm still not used to it since I just said loss. But yeah, it took me a good while. And the rationale is that loss has a negative connotation to it. So we don't want that energy in the house, you know, when it comes to trading. It's not a nice word. This is a new thing for us where I'm actually sitting down with him and we're, you know, making decisions together about what we're trading. Yesterday we did. And even though the day didn't end quite like we had planned, I was in that decision making, and it didn't sting the same way that it does when you've made those decisions and then come after us and say, okay, this was the outcome. And, you know, in some cases it's not always going to be as nice as I hope. And being part of that decision making really helps. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to incorporate that more. So this is probably an obvious question, but I'm just going to throw it out there anyway. How important do you think it is for the partners of traders to immerse themselves in the topic and have even a foundational understanding? I mean, do you think that's critical for a partnership in this way to really work, where you have a full-time trader managing internal, you know, private money, or do you think, yeah, they should be more involved?
I think definitely. I think I couldn't do it. I couldn't do this to the extent that I'm doing it now if it wasn't for, and I'm not just saying this because you're here, if it wasn't for you at least having some sort of interest and being incredibly, massively supportive of this.
Yeah.
Because it's not like every week you get a paycheck and you're fine. And it's also not like, okay, we can plan out the next 5 days and, you know, focus on and hit everything that we're going to hit, or do everything that we're going to do, even for like things that we think we can do during the week, they change. So I wouldn't be able to watch the amount of times that I do, and I'm trying to be conscious of that.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for your ability and your wanting to support and to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like just having
sometimes you just
son.
disappear on us.
Well, yeah, sometimes I do, but oftentimes
And I know what's
will explain
happening.
why. Yeah, it's
right.
a trend day or something.
Right. I know what's happening.
then
It's
I'm
power
like,
hour, you know, which is the last hour of trading, the trading day, or, you know, I don't know, you say you're going out to take the trash out, and then 10 minutes later, you know, I see you on your phone, but I know that you have to be engaged, and there are going to be times where the market's changing so quickly, you're going to have to just take that extra time. So understanding that definitely does help. It doesn't, you know, always feel great when, you know, things need to get done, but that's a whole different thing.
Like I wake up in the morning, I'm looking at work, I'm looking at markets, I'm looking at what did Korea do last night? What happened in South Korea?
Yeah.
Where I didn't necessarily do that when there was abundance.
Right, I see. Yeah, no, absolutely. It sort of changes your strategy. And I think that's another thing that you have to get used to, is just the change in mood, the change in energy, the change in vibe, depending on what's going on in the markets. I think it's all correlated when you have a partner who's doing this, because if the markets are good, then generally the mood is good. You know, yeah, you might have some down days, but you know, the up days really, you know, are really great. And so the vibe is just very different versus a market like this, where it's just so crazy up and down all the time, you can't even get a proper rhythm of anything.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're seeing more of those, as we call them, paper cut expenses, you know, where it's just like, and so, yeah, that you have to account for that change in what's happening in the markets, and the correlation to the internal atmosphere of the house.
Yes. So I went to a traders event, because that's the only place I go if I'm not here is a traders event. And there was a trader there who's a guy who's been trading for maybe 3 years, between 2 and 3 years. And he asked me, how do you get your partner to be so understanding of this? How do you have somebody who's in your corner? Because in his situations or his relationships, it's always been an issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
where it's probably seen as negative. Maybe there was lack of communication about it.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe some secrecy or privacy, like where he wants to keep some of it private at the beginning. I don't know. But it made me realize that I'm coming from a place of privilege, and I'm speaking at a level of someone
Thank you.
who's
I'll take that as a compliment.
right. Because
Indirect
I
one.
can't speak for the average person, but
Yeah.
I know in a lot of relationships I could see this as an issue.
Yeah. No. Hey, and it's not all roses, right? We know that even in these, last X minutes that we've been recording, we've talked about
Yeah.
the strains, but at the end of the day, I think if you fundamentally understand not just what's going on a day-to-day basis, but what your longer term goals are, what your sort of life goals are around how you want to live.
Yeah.
I think when you're aligned in that vision and that goal, then it makes no sense not to understand, not to be understanding.
Yeah.
Not every second will you be understanding, but if you're committed to the overall trajectory of your lives together, then I think there has to be a good foundation of understanding on the partner side.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I will say just to finish that thought off is, yes, okay, on the day-to-day hobbies, interests, you're not as involved, but I just want to throw it out there that, we relocated our family to move to the UK so that I could do my MBA full time. So you took a very big interest in something I wanted to do. So, it's not as uneven as you think.
Yeah, a lot of people had their comments and thoughts about that.
Right.
And to be fair, a lot of people were supportive and basically saying, look, if this is what you guys are going to do, go for it. Make the best out of it.
Right.
Make it special. Make it worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I kind of took from it, and it made me realize that you have to make the decision that's best for your family.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I do remember when you mentioned going back to school, and I was trying to think, like, what does that mean? Like, do I have to leave my job? Maybe I can work remotely or something. And I think it ended up working out well, where it's now put us in a place that we would have never imagined we could have been.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to take the leap. I know a lot of people like to plan out their day and their week and their month and their year, and that's good for them and their personality.
Right.
But I wouldn't do it any differently than what we've done. I think.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. So I think that concludes the first question.
Yes, I think it does. So we will do more of these.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice to get like a background, like some lights.
Yeah.
Not a background,
Yeah,
but like
we're
put
going to
some
have
lights and
our
stuff.
whole living room is going to be converted into a podcasting office.
Maybe like a second camera here.
God, please
cool, so
no.
we can-
Don't zoom in. That's all I ask.
But yeah, no, this was good. Thank you
Yeah.
for twisting my arm to do this.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we wanted to do this for a while, so more to come.